Hello beautiful ladies and welcome to today's video where we're going to be doing a video featuring Tati Beauty. I'm so excited to be using Tati's new palette on camera and to share with you the look that I created for today's video. I'm so excited for Thanksgiving. I love it all and I talk a lot in this video, so let's jump in. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is prime our skin, as usual. And so I'm going to hop into this e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I bought this a couple of videos ago. Oh my gosh, it feels like forever since I have filmed. Things have been so crazy. I was in an opera. I'm finally done with that, but that was amazing. It was crazy because I was working a 9 to 5 and then rehearsing 7 to 10 p.m. So I was just busy all the time, and I am relishing the time I have now because it feels like, oh my gosh, there's so many hours in a day, which is such a funny feeling. Now I'm going to go into the Healthy Foundation by Physicians Formula. I use the shade LW2. I used to use a different shade and realized that I actually have a warm undertone, even though I'm so fair. I always used to end up going a little too pink for my skin tone, and it just didn't work, even though I thought it would because I was so fair and light-skinned. But nope, I have a yellow undertone. So check out your undertone, ladies. And I'm just going to blend that in with a moist sponge. This is the EcoTool sponge. I think I use this in pretty much every video I've ever filmed. I am obsessed with this sponge. I really think I've owned one beauty blender in my life. I just think they're too pricey. I don't think it's worth it. So I have leaned toward, drugstore beauty blenders and beauty sponges, and this has become my favorite. I used the L'Oreal one for a while. That one was also really nice. And I used the Real Techniques sponge, which also does a great job, but it would, for me, get moldy, which was actually kind of scary because you're like, oh my gosh, what am I putting on my face? This specific sponge I've had for forever, and I haven't had any issues with that. And, you always want to keep your sponges clean, so I wash them pretty regularly and let them air dry. And then, of course, you want to pop them into the microwave every so often just to kill off any bacteria. But this has also just not gotten moldy, which is thumbs up. Okay, so now that I've done that, I am going to go ahead and put on some concealer. I'll be using the Instant Age Rewind by Maybelline, and this is in the shade 100 Ivory. This, I believe, is the lightest shade. And I'm just going to put a little bit under my eyes. The thing I love about this concealer is that, first of all, I have little fine lines under my eyes, does not settle into them, and I can use this on my blemishes, and it actually matches and covers pretty well. So I'm just going to do a little bit of highlighting in the middle of my face, and then I might go back in with my finger and then tap that onto some of my blemishes. So now that we are settled here in Nebraska, I have discovered that fall doesn't exist. Fall lasted about 2 weeks and then it snowed and now it's just cold. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of prefer that. Wait, do I? Am I lying to myself? No, I like that it's cold and it's just cold. It's not, is it cold enough to wear a jacket? Is it cold enough to wear tights? No, it's just cold. You have to wear the tights. You have to wear the coat. There's no question about what you should be wearing and what you shouldn't be wearing. And I prefer that. It doesn't feel like I don't know what to do every day. I kind of have a feel. It's probably going to be too cold for me to not wear a heavy coat. And I know that. So that's great. I'm going to go ahead and set my whole face using the Bare Minerals Original Mineral Veil Powder. And I'm going to use my damp sponge to set under my eyes and then a brush just to set my whole face because I'm not trying to get extra coverage. I'm just trying to set this down so it lasts all night. How was everybody's Halloween? Of course, I don't celebrate Halloween. I think that it's fun, and we had some friends over and played board games, and we had trick-or-treaters, so of course I went out and bought candy so that we could give candy to the trick-or-treaters because they were so cute. But we didn't dress up or anything. But what did you guys do for Halloween? Did you have a good time? Did you dress up? Tell me in the comments. What did you wear? Did you do a cool makeup look? Tell me everything. And what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? I know that no matter what I do for Thanksgiving, I have to have a fancy makeup look because why not? I mean, how many days of the year do you get to do a festive makeup look? So of course I'm going to take advantage of that. But what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Are you going to be with family? Are you going to be with friends? Are you traveling? Are you staying home? Tell me in the comments. I want to know. And what kind of makeup look are you going to do? I hope you try this one out because I think this one's going to be pretty fun. But if not, do you have another idea for what you're going to wear, what you're going to do for your makeup, that kind of thing? Now I'm just going to go ahead and use the LA Girl Brow Pomade in Soft Black and just fill in any kind of bald spots in my eyebrows. And then I'm going to go ahead and set those down with a brow gel from L'Oreal. So the way that I like to fill in my eyebrows is I just do short little strokes. And then near the front of the eyebrow, I use the flat edge and just kind of paint upward in small strokes. And then just go in and fill in any bald spots. So that's how I do my brows. And then I just set it with a clear brow gel. My eyebrows are pretty easy. I know that I'm lucky, but it is a pretty good technique just generally. You know, small, short, hair-like strokes. Okay, so now that I have evened out my skin and done my eyebrows, we're going to go ahead and contour, bronze, blush, and highlight the skin and just bring some dimension back. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my Tarteist Pro Glow To Go palette, and I'm going to go in with Chisel. And I'm going to use a contouring brush. This is the medium sculpting brush from Real Techniques. And I'm just going to tap into that color, tap off the excess, and then go from this middle part of the ear and just kind of feeling under the cheekbone and then blending up. So you bring it down and then blend up. Now you're going to get a little bit of a distinct line, which is a good thing, but it's not going to be like that really harsh line that a lot of people get and like. I personally don't like it that harsh. But I do like bringing in some definition to the face because when you're piling on the makeup, it's very easy to lose that. Actually, I was really fascinated by this. When I started doing my makeup, I knew that my husband didn't like it when I did my makeup that much. He liked me better when I didn't wear makeup. And so I thought to myself, okay, I can respect that. And maybe what I'll do is I'll try and tone down my contour when I'm around him because I don't want him to think it's like, whoa, you're wearing so much makeup. Well, about a few months later, I asked him what it was about my makeup that he didn't like. And he said to me that it was actually that when I was wearing my makeup, I had lost definition in my features and he thought my face looked kind of like flat and not like myself. And it was so funny because I thought to myself, oh, he actually prefers it a little bit more contoured. That's what he's missing. So I actually went back and put on a little bit more contour and now he likes my makeup style a little bit better. But again, you don't want it to look fake. You don't want it to look like you have these big harsh lines on your face, but you do want just a little bit more definition because if I were just to blot out all of my blemishes, even out my skin tone, and then put on just blush, I mean, you can do that and it wouldn't look terrible, but you would lose the natural shadows in your face because that's kind of what you're doing. You're blending them out. You know, you're kind of choosing to have more even skin over having the structure of your features. And you kind of have to bring that back when you contour your face. So yeah, a little known fact. Now I'm going to take a little fan brush. This is the it's just called a fan brush. And I'm going to go back into that shade and go down either side of my nose and then touch the tip of my nose just to add a little bit of shadow here. And then of course you can always blend this out by just kind of pulling it down the side. And if you feel like you went way too heavy, you can always go back in with that damp sponge, tap, 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 and that'll just soften everything up a little bit. And now just to bring even a little bit more bronzer to the skin, I'm going to take a bigger fluffy brush in that same shade and just that's the technical term. I'm going to go in with this Wet n Wild Color Icon Blush in Mellow Wine. I choose this color because I'm going in with more of an orange look on the eyes, and I think this is a very nice complement. So I'm just going to tap that on the cheeks, bring it up into my contour. And now I'm going to tap into an oldie but a goodie. This is not the right brush. This is the Sleek Makeup highlighting palette. This was like the biggest deal back in the day, and I looked for it for years and couldn't justify the purchase until I saw it in a Walgreens in New York and was like, okay, it's here. It's never been in stores before. I'm buying it. So now I own it. And I'm just going to, you're going to see, it's really intense. I'm going to put that right on the tops of my cheekbones. I think the camera's picking it up, but honestly, I can't tell. And just tap that on the tops of my cheekbones and down the nose and a little bit on the upper lip. And that's the skin done. So I'm actually going to put on my lipstick now because I feel like my face looks crazy. So I'm just going to put on this L'Oreal Paris Eva's Nude. It's a 610, that's the number. I'm just going to put that on. And then I'm going to take this Soap and Glory Nude Edition lipstick and put that right on top. Okay, guys, so I zoomed you in for the star of the show, and that is the La Tati Beauty palette. Very exciting. So here's the story about the Tati Beauty palette for me. I ordered the Tati Beauty palette the day it launched, and they had some shipping issues. I followed up a few days after, and they sent me a confirmation number and a shipping number. It was all fine, and then a week later, it still hadn't gotten here, and I was like, what's going on? So I emailed them again and told them that I was hoping to get it for my birthday because my birthday was that Friday, and they sent me an email back and they sent me out a new palette. The other one had gotten lost in the mail, which is so crazy, and they were kind enough to get it to me by my birthday. So I actually had it for my birthday, which was awesome. So cool. So let's open this up. So pretty. Oh my gosh, I love it. All of the colors are so gorgeous, and the glitter is just stunning. So we're going to do a very Thanksgiving-y look using this palette. It is perfect. I mean, this has all the colors you need for a Thanksgiving look, and I am so excited to bring this with me. I'm actually going to visit my family, Jacob's family, for Thanksgiving, so I'm really excited to see them, and I'm going to be only bringing this with me. So you know it's a good palette if I'm only bringing one. I have been following Tati for a really long time. I actually met Tati when I was in Los Angeles, and it was a week before her wedding, and she said to me, I just need to tell you something. And I was like, okay, we just met. This is cool. And she's like, don't tell anyone. I was like, don't worry, I won't. And she said, I am actually getting married next week, and I haven't told any of my subscribers or my followers, but I'm so excited. And I was just, it was amazing that she shared that with me. It was really sweet. Of course, I didn't share it with anyone. And then she got married, and it was beautiful. So I am so excited that she launched her own brand, and she did a great job. So I'm really excited to try it with you guys. I've used it before a few times, and it's lovely. I have not used all of the shades, but I have faith that they're all as good as the ones I have tried. So let's hop in. So the first thing that I'm going to do is prime my eyes. I am using the Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer from Wet n Wild. It looks like this. Boop, boop, boop. I'm just going to tap that on my eyelids. I definitely took too much. I've used this like once before, and I always squeeze out just a little more than I need, so I'm probably gonna wipe some of the excess off on the back of my hand. So what are your guys' favorite Thanksgiving traditions? Foods, things you talk about, decorations, I don't know. I love Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays. I was thinking, we used to, when I was a kid, go around the table and say what we were grateful for. I think that might be typical. Let me know if that's something that you did with your family growing up. And I always loved that because even as a kid, it kind of made me pause and think, what am I grateful for? Like, what is something that I am thankful that has happened this year? And I don't know, I haven't given my thought yet to what I'm going to say at the table if we do that at Jacob's Thanksgiving. I have so much to be grateful for. This year has been amazing. I mean, this year I launched Classically Abby. Yeah, which is such a crazy thing. I feel like I've been doing it forever. So the first color I'm going to tap into is Aura Matte. That's this one right here. And I'm just going to tap into that with a big fluffy brush and set down this primer. It's a really pigmented shade and it's really pretty. So it just is going to set everything down. Whoa. Did you see that? I didn't tap off the excess that time and it was lots of color. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is go into Soothe. I'm actually going to do, I'll just tell you a little bit in advance. So I did Aura, now I'm going to go Soothe, Story, Ritual, and then a little bit of Poet. So we're just kind of going down the mattes and ignoring Memory, which is a very amazing dark black shadow, and I'm not going to tap into that just yet. So we're going to tap into Soothe with this big fluffy brush one more time. This is a really beautiful transition shade, very unique color. It has a little bit of a yellow undertone, which, as you might imagine, works well on my skin tone because I have a warm undertone in my skin generally. And I'm just going to blend that in the crease right above where my lid meets my crease. I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. So start on the outer edge and then circular motions, windshield wiper motions into my inner corner on this kind of lid space between my crease, between my lid and my crease. Now I'm going to go in with this kind of angled, flat, fluffy brush here, and I'm going to dip into Story. This is my first time using this shade, so we'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be lovely. And I'm going to hit the outer corner of my eye. I want to get a little bit more of a wing shape, not too much of a wing, but a little bit of one. So I'm going to kind of bring it out as if I'm winging it out toward the tail of my eyebrow, and then I'm going to bring that in like this above my crease. And then you can blend it out. I was sick all last week with the flu. It was terrible. And every day at lunch, my husband would come home from work and just sit with me and say hi and check in on me and make sure I was okay. And it was so special. I felt so lucky because I don't know if you've ever been sick when you're single, but gosh, it is the worst. And that has happened to me enough times to know how lucky I am to have a man who would come home from work and just check on me. It's so funny. I've been thinking about this. When I was younger and a little bit more involved in my Jewish community, I kind of was, when I was in my master's and in New York, I was involved in the Jewish community, but obviously not in a family way, and it was a little bit less in your face all the time. And also I was introduced to people who weren't Jewish and who lived a totally different lifestyle. And it's been really funny because when I was younger, it was like everyone wanted to get married. Everyone talked about getting married. You couldn't not talk about getting married. And then I moved into the secular world, and then marriage became something nobody wanted. People kind of talked about it a little bit, but for the most part, nobody wanted marriage. And so when I was younger, I used to think, I don't want to talk about marriage too much because I don't want to make the people who want to get married feel bad about not being married. And now I feel like I want to talk about how amazing marriage is because a lot of the people I am friends with and I know don't want to get married. So it's a funny thing. I think it's important that that I talk about how lovely marriage is, but at the same time, I don't want to make anyone feel bad who isn't married yet. You are in a wonderful stage in your life, and I loved being single, and there were wonderful things about it. I also love being married, and I encourage it. I encourage that as a thing that you should want to do, I think, if that works in your lifestyle, but it's just a funny thing. Now I'm tapping into Ritual with that same fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna hit that outer V a little bit lower than I did with the orange, just more in the actual crease, not above it, just to deepen it up and get that little bit of a smoky effect. Now I'm going to go in with an even smaller fluffy brush in this purpley shade here, and I'm just gonna tap off the excess, and this is really just because I like the mixture of purple and orange. I think it's pretty. So I'm just bringing that right on top of that darker brown and just bringing it in to add some dimension and that kind of thing. Now I'm going to do my lower lash line, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take an angled brush, and I'm just going to take this dark brown and I'm going to put that on my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take this little flat brush, it's on the other side of the small fluffy brush, and I'm going to take the orange shade again, this matte orange shade, and I'm just going to blend that out, smoke it out. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't like a crazy eyeshadow look, then I would just stop here, put on some eyeliner, and put on some mascara. And that's the whole look, and you're done. And if that's what makes you happy, absolutely go for it. Now, I'm going to keep going because why not? But if that's your thing, absolutely that's where you should stop and call it a night. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of Story, the sequin formula, and I'm going to take that on my fingertip, and I'm going to tap that right on this outer edge. I'm kind of going to do an ombre effect here. This color is really pigmented. It's very cool because it has these gold shimmers in it, and I'm just going to tap that right kind of where the smoky met the lid that I hadn't put any shade on. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye. Now I'm going to take the Story metallic color and I'm going to go in with that on a different finger, and we're gonna bring that even further in on the lid. So this is going on well with my finger, but I can feel that I'm not getting the full impact of that color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray a brush. I'm going to tap my brush into that color and then spray that brush with a setting spray, and that's going to intensify the pigment. So give me 1 second. Yeah, that's much more intense. And I'm actually going to bring that all the way in, and then what we're going to do is take the glitter shade and layer that on top more close to the inner corner. So we're going to take this all the way in using this brush. Okay, I'm listening to this Dolly Parton podcast. I think it's called Dolly Parton's America, and now I have all of her songs stuck in my head. It is so much. And before I go in with the glitter, I'm just going to take this fluffy brush here that we used to go on the outer edge, and I'm just going to blend out what I did with the sequin shade in Story. So we're just going to blend that out a little bit, blend it in. I'm just using it to blend out everything, really. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the glitter shade, which is the moment we've all been waiting for, let's be honest. And I'm going to take this shade here. This is the glitter in Story, and I'm just going to tap that right kind of over that inner part of the eye. Maybe went in a little too far, but I'm not mad actually. I kind of like it. stunning. I mean, come on. Like, come on. It's so pretty. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up because I have some glitter that fell down, which I should have probably used a glitter glue, but I didn't. So it's to be expected. And I'm just going to pop on an inner corner highlight using Aura in the metallic formula. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this same angled brush. I'm going to tap into Memory, tap off the excess because this is really pigmented, and I am going to just put that on the upper lash line, just to define those lashes a bit. And now I'm going to curl my eyelashes and put on some mascara, and that's the finished look. And that's the finished look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and head over to my blog and Twitter and Instagram and follow me there. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.